If it's Monday night, oh yes, it is Ridiculously Raw. Hello, friends. It's Ridiculously Over Anthony Floyer here with you for another edition of Ridiculously Raw. And up until the ending, I got to be real honest. This is going to be one of our shorter Monday Night Raw reviews, I'm afraid, because there was just so much hot garbage on this show tonight. I'm going to be real honest with you. And as if it's not a somber, as if this night here in New England couldn't be any more somber enough. If you haven't been watching in the world of sports, I think y'all know where I'm going with it. I mean, and to follow it up with what was up until the very end a basically hot garbage edition of Monday Night Raw, but it was a newsworthy one. I will admit that it was a newsworthy show. I will admit it, but a lot of the stuff on this show, in the immortal words of Charles Barkley, terrible. That's all I'm going to say. And so expect several, and I do mean several, cutouts this evening. That's all I am going to say. So, but with that, I am joined, of course, as always, by my elite panel. As always, of course, you know who I'm talking about. The host of the Cerebral Smack Talk, the Cerebral Viper, good old MF, Michael Fletcher, and of course, the Phenom, Michael Bullock. And I know he's in sad spirits tonight, but I know he's going to be doing the show with a heavy heart. But hey, that's all there is to say on that. So with that being said, let's dive on in. Monday Night Raw was live tonight from the Oracle Arena in Oakland, California, the home of the Golden State Warriors, as you know. And well, we'll actually start off with something relevant. We started it off with an in-ring segment. We had the new women's champion, Sasha Banks, addressing the universe after her title win last Monday night in that epic main event against Charlotte in L.A. She basically issued the challenge to Charlotte, saying, yes, I'm going to face Charlotte again at Hell in a Cell. But Charlotte, let's take it one step further. Let's make history one more time and become the first women to ever battle inside Hell in a Cell. And then it would be Charlotte would come down, but as she was coming down, she was actually interrupted by Rusev, a new look Rusev. If you notice, he has a new look. He shaved off his mustache. He still has the beard, but he shaved the mustache. He looks a little interesting there. But Rusev comes down with Lana, and then Rusev says, nobody cares about you two. And he says that it's my ring, and what I say goes. And the women were just and Sasha and Charlotte, even though they hate each other's guts, I mean, they actually had this in common. And then Lana said, Charlotte and Sasha, you need to know your place, and you whine like little girls, and that Hell in a Cell is for real men like Rusev. And then Sasha and Charlotte shove Lana down. They double drop kick Rusev out of the ring, and then that brings out Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns to the boos, as always, and Roman didn't say anything. He just stared down Rusev and Lana, and well, there's nothing left for me to say here except it's one of the segments of the night, one of the very few bright spots on this hot garbage edition of Monday Night Raw. I will admit it. The announcement of the Women's Hell in a Cell match was well received. It was odd to have the bitter rivals team up to take out Rusev moments later, but it worked in that they went right back to jawing at one another. The cool part about the women in the Hell in a Cell match is they are also expected to main event the pay-per-view. It is expected. When I hear those words, I'm encouraged. Because, you know, we've always been saying, when are the women going to main event a pay-per-view? When are they going to get their chance? This Hell in a Cell event could be that moment we've been waiting for. Meanwhile, Rusev needs heat, and they need to stop protecting Roman and let him talk. So that's really all I can say on that. So it's one of my segments of the night for sure, no doubt about it. Like I said, one of the very few, and I do mean very few, bright spots on this otherwise meh edition of Raw tonight. Probably because it was a holiday and everything else. So with that being said, I'm going to bring in good old MF, Michael Fletcher. MF, come on in. Your thoughts on this opening segment and Sasha throwing down the gauntlet to Charlotte, Hell in a Cell for the Women's Championship. So MF, it's all yours.
Hey, what's up, guys? Sorry about that. Just trying to get my bearings, I guess is what they would say. Look, I'm gonna say it. It was a nice little start to Monday Night Raw, and it was a solid way to start Monday Night Raw. Sasha Banks, the new WWE Raw Women's Champion, coming out. The interruption by Charlotte, Rusev, and Lana. Important thing was it happened. We're getting a women's Hell in a Cell fight, guys. I think I called it once before, and I said, let's do it. I said, why not? Pull the trigger, let it happen. Michael Bullock and Anthony Florio, they were like, oh, I don't know, women being in the Hell in a Cell. I'm like, you know what? You put the women as a main event on Monday Night Raw. Why the heck put it and really make one thing even bigger? Put them in the most sadistic structure known to man. And guess what? They took my advice and it's actually happening. I can't believe it. Awesome. So after that, we had a nice little thing with Roman Reigns. Yes, booed out of the building. It is what it is, whatever. But at the end of the day, hey, it's solid, solid. Nothing more to say. Mike Bullock, it's yours.
Yes, this was indeed a real good segment to start off this edition of Monday Night Raw, and yeah, yeah, me and Floria, we basically said, oh, there's no way they can do this, but well, first off, like I like the confrontation between Sasha and well, what Sasha was talking about, and then Charlotte looked, she was on her way to the ring, but like you said, Lana and Rusev interrupted, and they said no one cares about this whole stupid women's revolution or that they main evented Raw. Wherever I go, I'm the main event. And let's just say Charlotte and Sasha basically said, you know what? Well, Charlotte was the one who basically said, you know what? Nobody disrespects the Queen. And Charlotte says, you know what? I accept your challenge for Hell in a Cell. And as soon as I heard that, I'm like, oh my goodness. And hey, Fletcher was right. And hey, I mean, if they want to, I mean, if they want to take this to the next level, then damn it, put them inside that sadistic structure, Hell in a Cell, and they're gonna do it. They're gonna make history and become the first women to be inside that sadistic structure, Hell in a Cell. We've seen what the men can do inside that structure. I cannot wait to see what Charlotte and Sasha Banks do inside Hell in a Cell. And then Rusev decides to cut them off again. Sasha slapped the mic out of his hand, and then Lana said, "You know what? You two need to know your place because you two whine like little girls." And then they say, "You know what? We had enough of you, Lana." And then Roman Reigns made his way out, and then Rusev and Lana decided to take their balls and go home. So a very good way to start off Raw, and I'm gonna call it right down the middle here, and I'm gonna be quite honest. This is going to be the fight of the night of Hell in a Cell. I don't care what anybody else says. This is going to steal the show. No doubt about it. So that's really all I can say is, Florio, it is yours.
Yes, and didn't we say the same thing about Dolph Ziggler and The Miz at No Mercy? And look what happened last night. If you didn't see it, they stole the show.
Yeah,
So
yeah. There's definitely, yeah, they're definitely gonna steal the show at Hell in a Cell. If that doesn't steal the show, I don't know what the hell will.
I'll even go
fair
one
enough.
further. I'm even going to go one further. And Bill McConnell came up to me and I found out from him about this main event fight tonight about Sasha and Charlotte for Hell in a Cell. Then he went up and was like, you know what? That he was hearing some stuff on social media. I think it was Facebook. I don't know for sure. But there was a push for Sasha and Charlotte to main event Hell in a Cell in Boston
I said, do it. Do it.
because it's Sasha's hometown.
Well documented.
Well documented because it is going to be in Boston at TD Garden.
Indeed.
Number two, I mean, with the momentum that they got, especially after what they did in LA at Staples on Monday Night Raw about a week ago, there's so much momentum for these two ladies that there's a push going around that the main event of Hell in a Cell. Now, unless the Jericho, well, I don't know if we can even talk about it because I don't know if they brought it up tonight, but there is a rumored triple threat match for the title between Owens, Rollins, and Jericho. That could be main event quality. Rusev and Roman Reigns is main event quality. So, I mean, we could have ourselves, for the first time ever that I could ever think of in professional wrestling history,
A triple main event.
A triple main event.
Why not?
At Hell in a Cell in Boston.
Sure. Why not? So,
Well, this is a shot in the arm Monday Night Raw needs, especially for their pay-per-view.
yes, especially after how disappointing Clash of the Champions was. But let's dive on in, guys. Let's move on to our next. Let's move on to our first match of the evening, and this is a relevant match. Don't worry, the cutouts are coming soon enough. It was a one-on-one match. We had the Swiss Superman Cesaro, accompanied by Sheamus, going up against Kofi Kingston with Big E and Xavier Woods. Winner of the match in 7 minutes and 30 seconds after a small package of or a roll-up of sort. Kofi Kingston wins the match. So, MF, we started off with you. Kofi and Cesaro, one of the few bright spots as far as the matches were concerned.
Yeah, a few bright spots. Disappointing though. I was looking for something a little better because we know Kofi has always been very good in the ring. Cesaro, the Swiss Superman, the Cesaro section. Yes, Michael, like that's a shout out to you. They would be normally in full force. It was an entertaining fight, no doubt about it. I'm not gonna say nothing bad, but it's about maybe 1.5 to 2 stars. I really thought it could have been better. I kind of was a little underwhelmed, to say the very least. So, nothing more to say. I'm not gonna go much more deeper than that. So, Mike Bullock, I toss it to you, my friend.
Yeah, yeah, I was expecting a real good match, and I was a little bit disappointed with it. So, and I agree with Fletcher's rating. I'm only going to give it 1.5 to 2 stars. I mean, I wanted to see more out of this because of the body of work of both of these men, but it really just didn't impress me. I mean, it was still a good match for what it was, but I really wanted to see more out of it, if I'm going to be quite honest. So I'm not going to get any deeper on it. So 1.5 to 2 stars. So, Florio, I give it to you.
I'm going to tweak it just a little bit. 2 to 2.25 stars is my rating. I mentioned last week that I hope they would be more creative with the Sheamus and Cesaro bickering. This week we got Sheamus acting more concerned with social media than his partner's singles match, which was a fun little twist. I hope they continue to have some fun with it rather than just have them squabble. So that's really all I can say on that. Solid match, and I do agree. Disappointing, yes, because of the fact that it's Cesaro, it's Kofi Kingston, 2 very good workers, 2 underrated and underutilized workers, if I'm going to be real honest with you. And, I mean, 2 guys who both deserve way better than they're getting. But, hey, Kofi's got something really – has been a part of something really special with the New Day right now. 414 days and counting as your WWE World Tag Team Champions, and it is expected that at Hell in a Cell that the New Day will defend against Cesaro and Sheamus. It's not official.
It's official.
Yet.
It's official,
it is official
now.
Oh, it is
Yeah,
official.
because I checked on the WWE the WWE app on my iPad, and it's official. It will be the New Day defending their tag team titles against Cesaro and Sheamus.
Fair enough. So there you go. They will battle it out at Hell in a Cell for the WWE World Tag Team Championship. And when they get there, when New Day gets there, it's an interesting note. They will tie CM Punk's modern day WWE Championship run. It will be 434 days when they get to Hell in a Cell. Again, food for thought right there. So that's really all I can say on that. So a solid match, but yes, a little underwhelming considering it was a short bout. I mean, these two guys are great. I mean, we both love their bodies of work, and two guys who can wrestle a more than passable match. And unfortunately, they didn't get enough time to shine. They only got 7.5 minutes, but it is what it is, as we always say. And following that first segment, Mick Foley made a mixed tag team match for later in the evening with Roman Reigns and Sasha Banks going up against Rusev and Charlotte. We'll get into that match in a little bit. That was another relevant moment. So, with that being said, it's time for the cutouts now. So, MF Bullock, take a breather, because you're gonna get one for a little bit here, because we're gonna have quite a few cutouts here. It started with Bayley. Bayley was in a squash match. She went up against a young lady by the name of Cammie Fields. Bayley won the match in 2 minutes and 25 seconds. Bayley to belly, of course, with the win. The only thing of relevance was that after the match, Dana Brooke attacked Bayley after the match. I'll sum it up. No rating to a dud, of course. Nice homecoming match for Bayley, and a wise call to have Brooke attack her afterward, given that the live crowd was sure to be upset by it. Bayley, of course, from the Bay Area, of course, from San Jose, so right up the road. It's not often I say this, but the cruiserweights were actually a cutout here. Sin Cara and Lince Dorado went up against Tony Nese and Drew Gulak. Sin Cara and Lince Dorado won the match in only 3 minutes and 15 seconds. Lince Dorado with a shooting star press on Drew Gulak for the win. Another no rating to a dud. Never thought I'd say that about a cruiserweight match, considering that's my bread and butter, my specialty, especially after the overwhelming success of the Cruiserweight Classic over the summer. I'm still not a fan of the cruiserweights doing the Code of Honor when no one else on the roster does it. I actually feel bad for Sin Cara. He enters the cruiserweight division, and his first match is a tag match. Then he doesn't even get the win for his team. Ouch. As usual, the fans were reacting to the high spots, though they did seem more excited about those high spots than other crowds have for the cruiserweights on Raw. So that's really all I can say on that. So another no rating to a dud. I can't believe I'm saying that about a cruiserweight match. I still can't get over that. But now we're gonna jump back into some relevant stuff here. We had an in-ring segment. General Manager Mick Foley, along with Commissioner Stephanie McMahon, they came out and Mick Foley made it official. Sasha Banks and Charlotte will battle for the Women's Championship. First time ever inside Hell in a Cell. Unreal. And then, of course, they also mentioned Roman Reigns and Rusev for the United States Heavyweight Championship. That's a Hell in a Cell match. But wait, there's more, gentlemen. Mick Foley announces that Kevin Owens will defend the Universal Championship against Seth Rollins, also in Hell in a Cell. So not one, not two, but 3 Hell in a Cell matches in one night come the 30th of this month at the TD Garden in Boston, Massachusetts, all with the 3 most important championships on Monday Night Raw on the line. So, but then they would be interrupted. Chris Jericho and Kevin Owens would show up, basically show their displeasure, if you will, and then Stephanie would make an announcement that in the main event tonight, Chris Jericho would go one-on-one with Seth Rollins. And if Chris Jericho won the match, Chris Jericho would be added to the Kevin Owens-Seth Rollins Universal Championship Hell in a Cell match. But that's only if Jericho wins. We'll get into that later. So with all that being said, Michael Bullock, you start this one off. Your thoughts on this segment with Mick Foley and Stephanie McMahon basically making Sasha and Charlotte official inside Hell in a Cell and the whole 9 yards.
Man, oh man, I love this segment here, and can't wait for this. Like I said before, can't wait for the first ever women's Hell in a Cell match. It's just gonna be so freaking exciting. I mean, and then to have Kevin Owens and Seth Rollins settle for the WWE Universal Championship inside Hell in a Cell. All I can say is I hope this match will be better than that hot garbage match that they had at Clash of the Champions. Don't get me started on that because I will go off big time on it again because that's how pissed off I was about it. So yeah, so for the first time, we're getting not one, not two, but 3 Hell in a Cell matchups. Woo! Man, I can't make this pay-per-view any better than what it already is. So, yeah, so... And then, of course, Jericho and Kevin Owens come out and basically showing their displeasure and telling that of course, Chris Jericho having this stupid ass list of Jericho and telling that Mick Foley's added to the list. And you know what all I can say is right now, I hate that whole list of Jericho thing. That's all I can say to Chris Jericho. And if you want to put me on the list, put me on it. I don't care. So, and then Stephanie McMahon said, you know what? If you beat Seth Rollins in the main event tonight, you will get added to the main event, and it will become a triple threat match. So, will it happen? You're just gonna have to wait and find out. So, good segment for what it was. So, Florio, I give it to you.
I got to correct you there, Bullock. We got to go back to the inaugural Hell in a Cell event back in 2009. We actually did have 3 Hell in a Cell matches on that very night in Newark, New Jersey.
Of course, one of them did include my man, The Undertaker.
Yes, The Undertaker winning the World Heavyweight Championship from CM Punk, which ended up being the first fight of the night, go figure. And then we had, of course, John Cena. He defended the WWE Championship against Randy Orton. Randy Orton won the title, much to the delight of Michael Fletcher. And in the main event of that show, believe it or not, it was a tag team match. D-Generation X, Shawn Michaels and Triple H against The Legacy, Cody Rhodes and Ted DiBiase. So 3 Hell in a Cell matches have been done before, and it was in 2009, the inaugural event. Every other year after that, it was at least 2, maybe even 1. So anywho, getting back to this, to me, this was the second best segment of the night, even though I liked that other segment as well. Owens' reaction to Jericho possibly being added to the match was priceless and played off of last week well. They have been subtly teasing some tension between them, and that played off it well. What I didn't like was that Stephanie and Mick seemed to be back on the same page after, they went after each other, and he even mentioned it. They are just best pals and not even mentioning the Triple H thing anymore, which is frustrating. The thing about the women getting the Hell in a Cell match is that they need to stop beating us over the head with we're making history and nonsense like that. Sell it as these two need the cell to settle their score for now. I guess it's hard to do with the Hell in a Cell generally being devalued since becoming a yearly pay-per-view. So, but other than that, though, to me, and I know for some people I hear some people saying, "Oh, 3 Hell in a Cell matches in one night, that's too much." No. And it overexposes the gimmick. It makes it feel less special. No. I mean, I know Foley enjoys being an advocate for the women's division, but I can't believe they had him basically cheerlead the idea of the women entering the structure. I mean, it was a great opportunity. I mean, they could have done a true authority-like moment here. They could have had an opportunity for Foley to put over the danger of the match and say that he couldn't put them in the match in good conscience. Of course, he could have eventually been overruled by Stephanie, considering that she's the women's advocate and all that. I just don't like the idea of making Hell in a Cell a feel-good reward for the women when the match should be presented as the most dangerous match the company has. That's what some of the skeptics are saying. We're all fine with it. I mean, we can't wait to see it, and we think it's going to steal the show. So that's all I can say about that. For me, it was the second best segment of the night. So there's one other segment I thought was better. So MF, let's bring you in now. Your thoughts on all of this with Mick Foley and Stephanie McMahon, and then Jericho and Owens coming out and the whole 9 yards. 3 Hell in a Cell bouts in one night. How about it?
Well, this was going to be very interesting to see. First off, you got Rollins and Owens. Well, for now, we'll wait and see if Jericho wins, because if Jericho wins, he's added to the party. That means we got ourselves a triple threat fight. Then you got Roman Reigns and Rusev, and of course the women going in. That was the one that, you know, it was teased a little bit. We were thinking about it, and you know, we brought it up last week right here on the show. And I was like, you know what? Let's roll the dice. Go for it. You let these two women go at it. You guys were kind of a little apprehensive, like I said, but, you know, it finally happened. I'm so happy it is. This is going to be great. This is a very good look to the pay-per-view. But now the real fun begins. The execution. Can you deliver it in a way that makes us say, holy, you know what? This was a great show. Boston is an IWC city. It's a city that I know for a fact Vince McMahon loves Boston, Massachusetts. This is an old school WWF territory. The Northeast was WWF territory. Hartford, Boston, Providence, Rhode Island, and New York, a.k.a. Madison Square Garden. Those were the 4 venues way back when the territorial wars were going on, where you had Canadian Stampede Wrestling up in Canada, up in like the Calgary area. You had AWA in the Twin Cities, Minnesota, Chicago, that area. You had the NWA, which was Tennessee, Florida. You had Tennessee, Alabama, like right in that area. And then you had FCW, which was practically all of Florida. So yeah, we had all that area basically galvanized, and WWF, which was Vince McMahon Sr., that was his area. That was the area that we loved. So Vince knew, you know, what were the cities you had to do great shows in? Hartford, Providence, New York, Boston, anywhere up in that Northeast corridor. I'll even throw in Philadelphia, but Philadelphia is more ECW area more than WWF or WWE back in the day. So that's where the land of the hardcore was born and bred. New York and Philly. And then you can say Chicago, but Chicago kind of came a little late to the party. But New York and Philly was like, that was ECW territory. No doubts in my mind. So Vince loves Boston. He was, it's part of the legacy. It's part of the family, the love, the passion. So when the family business that is known for real wrestling fans, and I really mean this, the purest wrestling fans from around this area, the true diehards that gets it. And I mean They are true IWC, but they also are really knowledgeable about professional wrestling. Show had to be huge. This show had to be big because you're bringing in a really big event, which is Hell in a Cell, even though it's considered a B-level pay-per-view. No doubt about it. But they're trying to make this as an A-level show. Now, this could be, and remember, the next pay-per-view behind this is Survivor Series. So this has to deliver. They need that momentum to go into that last major pay-per-view of the year, which is Survivor Series in Toronto. This has to deliver, and that's why by making these matches, by announcing these matches officially, this makes it well worth the $9.99 or the rumor, and yes, this is a rumor, that they are talking about raising the prices to $14.95. Now, don't jump on me yet. Don't jump. And before you start saying, wait a minute, what? $14.95? No, like I said, they've put out a survey a couple of days ago. I was actually one of the people that was actually got emailed by, I think it was WWE Network, or, you know, they do a poll, of an opinion poll, to try to get the deeds, or, you know, your feeling about the product and the whole 9 yards. And there was this thought, or there was a thing about, would you stay with the WWE Network if we should raise our prices to $14.95? The reasoning behind this, and I think Florio will get into this later tonight, is because there was a library of a certain content that got bought out by WWE. They had possession of this content that they want to put on their network. But in order to do that, it's like with the cable company. Whenever you acquire a channel or a network or whatever, sometimes you got to do these packages. And sometimes those packages comes and it costs you a little bit of some money. I know if you got HBO or like Cinemax, they're like between $10 and $12 a month extra than what you normally pay. So in order to bring this new content of wrestling in, you're going to have to pay a little extra, at least $5 more. Are you willing to do it? That's completely up to you. Now, getting back to the job at hand, which was the segment. Good segment. I loved everything that was incorporated. I'm with Michael Bullock. I'm sick and tired of that Jericho list as usual. But I thought everybody did their parts really well. I like that they're planting the seeds about that possible implosion between Jericho and Owens. So Jericho is definitely, looks like they're going to be on the outs. But we'll see how that comes out, more or less. Nothing more to say. Let's move on, gentlemen.
Wow, I don't know how to follow that. My goodness. I mean, Michael Fletcher giving us a history lesson here, and I thought I was the professor of this show. Goodness, I think I just found my associate professor. That's all I can say.
I learned from the best.
Well, I appreciate that. Yes. So, yes. I mean, yeah. I mean, we could go on and on about that. I mean, I've been finding some old videos of, this awesome guy on YouTube. His name is Richard Land. You got to check him out. I subscribe to his channel. He's been uploading recently videos of house show events that took place at Madison Square Garden from the 70s and the 80s, as well as the old Philadelphia Spectrum, also in the 80s, and also from the Boston Garden. I mean, those were the big three. I mean, and I think he's even thrown in a few shows from the old Maple Leaf Gardens in Toronto. So great cards indeed. So you should check it out. Richard Land is his name. So go onto the YouTube and give him subscribe and check it out. It's great stuff. Trust me. So with that being said, let's dive right in. Of course, we got to go back to cutouts here. What happened was Bo Dallas and Curtis Axel, they were in the ring getting ready to go up against Enzo and Cass, but enter Gallows and Anderson. Gallows and Anderson take out Enzo and Cass, and that's really what happens here. And then Gallows and Anderson, and then Foley. And then Axel and Dallas were like, okay, what's going on here? So then McFoley, and then what happened was they end up going into a match against Sami Zayn and Adrian Neville. So it was Sami Zayn and Adrian Neville going up against Bo Dallas and Curtis Axel. Sami Zayn and Adrian Neville win the bout in 2 minutes and 20 seconds. There was a haluva kick by Sami Zayn, and then the Red Arrow by Neville. No rating to a dud. They seemingly are back on the let's make Sami Zayn and Neville a team again. Cole kept pushing it as their debut, but they did tag on the SummerSlam pre-show against the Dudleys. And remember when Sami was putting on some of the WWE's best matches of the year? Neither do they. So that's all I can say on that. So it's another no rating to a dud. But wait, there's more nonsense. We get a match with R-Truth against Titus O'Neil. Huh. I'm going to put some butts in the seats. The toilet seats. Hi-yo. No rating to a dud
Hey-yo.
here. Yep. R-Truth wins the bout in 2 minutes and 11 seconds. That was a no rating. It wasn't long, and it wasn't very good either. Titus is such a waste of time as an in-ring performer. Make the guy an ambassador or something and move on already. That's really all I can say about that. And then they had a backstage segment with T.J. Perkins and Brian Kendrick. That was pretty good. And then, oh, wait, the fun doesn't end. There's more nonsense. A Braun Strowman squash. Yeah. Yeah, buddy. He squashes two Hammernager jabronis, wins it in a minute. I'm not even going to get into it. Absolute worst fight of the night. We're not going to waste any time on that. But now we can get into some relevant stuff here, finally. It was the mixed tag team match. Champions versus challengers, if you will. That's how they were billing it. We had United States Heavyweight Champion Roman Reigns teaming up with the Women's Champion Sasha Banks to go up against Rusev and Charlotte. Winners of the match in 9 minutes and 51 seconds, Roman Reigns and Sasha Banks. Sasha Banks wins it for her team with the bank statement. So the time of the bout ranges from 9 minutes and 45 seconds to 9 minutes and 51 seconds. I'll start this one off. To me, this was the second best fight of the night. Solid 3 stars. Good and fun match with the ladies getting a great reaction in the match, working to hype two of the two top main events for Hell in a Cell. Two of the top main events for Hell in a Cell. Fans were into the match, and I'm surprised they didn't give them more time. The finish was surprising in that the challengers both seemed like weak challengers and that the babyfaces just won their titles. They need to put some major heat on Charlotte and Rusev over the next couple of weeks. But other than that, I can't complain about it. So solid 3-star match, second best fight of the night on my end. So MF, we actually finally have something relevant to talk about. That mixed tag match. Solid 3 stars for me. How about you?
Yeah, no, definitely. This was definitely one of the fights of the top fights of the night. You could even say probably the fight of the night, no doubt about it. This was really good. Solid performance, solid match, no doubt about that. And it definitely brought, this is what you need to do. You need to incorporate, the two matches, the two of the 3 triple main events of the night. So no, I had nothing bad to say about it. I really enjoyed it. I liked the body of work of everybody involved. So no, this was really good. 2.5 to 3 stars. I agree with that, Anthony, with your rating. And with that said, Mike Bullock, I give it to you.
Yeah, This was a solid 3-star match as well. I like the interaction from both teams. I mean, with Roman Reigns and Sasha Banks and Rusev and Charlotte. I mean, Rusev and Charlotte getting that major heat. So yeah, there's really nothing much to complain about. So 3 stars is my rating. Florio, let's move on.
And then, and this is actually where it actually starts getting better. In-ring segment. Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman is there. He arrived and showed a clip of WWE 2K17 with footage of a Brock Lesnar versus Bill Goldberg match. Of course, Paul Heyman was basically there to answer the comments that Bill Goldberg made on that Sports Center segment with Jonathan Coachman last week, and basically he dropped the gauntlet. He says, Goldberg, you and Brock Lesnar in Suplex City, you're not Goldberg, you're next. So he said he basically challenged Goldberg for a match with Brock Lesnar anywhere, any place, and any time. And then it was announced a little later in the night that next Monday night on Raw in Denver, for the first time in about 12 years, Bill Goldberg will be on Monday Night Raw to answer Paul Heyman's challenge. And of course, before I throw it to MF, of course, if you haven't been reading the dirt sheets have been saying that there's going to be a match that Brock Lesnar and Bill Goldberg are going to fight each other one-on-one at Survivor Series on November 20th. That's the word going around the dirt sheets. So, Michael Fletcher, MF, it's only fitting we started off with you. I mean, you're a big Paul Heyman guy, but then again, we all are. So, Heyman basically dropping the challenge to Goldberg, and your thoughts on that, as well as the announcement of Bill Goldberg being in the house next Monday night. How about that?
That's going to be awesome, man. I mean, this, Monday Night Raw needed a shot in the arm. This could be that shot in the arm Mike Bullock was talking about. An amazing show. This could be definitely a show stealer, no doubt about it. Even though I know a lot of people goes back to that dreaded night, WrestleMania 20, even though the show itself was great, it was a tremendous WrestleMania. Some people even consider it one of the top 5 WrestleManias of all time. In their history, in their minds, in the archives. However, the one biggest disappointment or the biggest letdown of WrestleMania was Bill Goldberg versus Brock Lesnar, with all the hype that they had, with the two, at the time, they were the 2 biggest men in wrestling. You had basically the biggest name of WCW versus the next big thing of WWE, and the fight absolutely was, I think we called it the word. Well, I think in many people's eyes, they actually called it one of the worst matches in WrestleMania history. I mean, it was a complete and utter dud. And if we were doing the Forum show back then, I think we would have called this the worst fight of the night. I think it would have been the worst fight of the night in our eyes. So I heard the same dirt sheets. I've heard the same theories. There is a story that I heard that about what could happen next that would lead to a storyline that should lead us all the way up to WrestleMania and Orlando. I'd rather not tip my hand tonight unless you gentlemen want me to tip the hand, and that's completely up to you. But I can't wait to hear what Bill Goldberg says. I can't wait to see what happens. This is life imitating art again, guys. You've seen a little bit of the Easter eggs for the last few weeks or I should say for the few months, promoting WWE 17. And, there was um, the police officers coming out, and there was one little thing that you actually didn't see, and I think you might have missed it. But once you saw the Goldberg's window, if you looked at it, there was a sign on it that said Suplex City as he's driving into driving in that police car. So you already knew that maybe they were planting the seeds there. Now you have Lesnar and Goldberg, talking privately about the game. And of course, Goldberg and Lesnar got throwing questions at each other about the older man. Now, they kind of played it off like, yeah, whatever. I mean, maybe it is, maybe it's not. You don't know. Who knows? But first, real, legit time that we actually are seeing Goldberg and Lesnar, and now the seeds are starting to be planted. Now you're starting to see that not only is this possibly that it just could happen, not only that it might happen, it it very well will happen if Goldberg plays the card. That card that we said was Survivor Series. Now, the theory that I had, and this is from a dirt sheet, and the reason why the Goldberg card came out was possibly it might have been Shane McMahon's doing. Because remember, Shane got F5'd by Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam after Randy Orton got destroyed in the middle of the ring. Bloodied mess and the whole 9 yards. We're not going to drudge that up. But Shane McMahon has been really upset about the treatment and the so-called lack of disrespect by Stephanie McMahon. The fact that she fined Brock Lesnar $500 for assaulting a WWE official. So Shane has not forgotten about that. So this is the theory that I got. Goldberg and Lesnar go at it at Survivor Series. Anthony, you threw it. Lesnar wins, does another bloody job on Goldberg this time around. Basically, it is a repeat performance of SummerSlam. Goes same way through. Shane takes his back for Goldberg, telling him, hey, enough is enough. You did what you did. Lesnar does another F5 to Shane. Shane gets so ticked, he calls Lesnar out. And he calls him out for a fight, a brawl, at the granddaddy of them all, WrestleMania 33 at the Camping World Stadium in Orlando, Florida. That's right, guys. I'm going to call it right here, right now. I've been reading the dirt sheets. I even conferred with this with my fellow colleagues, a couple of guys from the 2184 crew, because we've been following this very well. And this is the theory we're hearing. This is what we're going to throw at you guys right here tonight. Not only am I a professor in training, but the investigative reporting me being the 007 of the crew, we know how to crack a case or two in my day. So Lesnar and Goldberg happen at Survivor Series. Lesnar wins. Watch for Shane to call out Lesnar because he has not forgotten about the job that he did to him at SummerSlam. And get ready, gentlemen, a Lesnar Shane O'Mac fight at WrestleMania. Mike Bullock, with all that said, it's yours, my friend.
Wow, I don't know how the heck I'm gonna follow what Fletcher said, but I don't think I even can. But yeah, I mean, yeah, Paul Heyman makes the challenge to Bill Goldberg to go one-on-one with Brock Lesnar anytime, any place, and Bill Goldberg's gonna be on Raw next week. Man, I cannot wait for I cannot wait for next week's Raw, and you know what's going to happen when Goldberg comes out. We're finally gonna get that chant of Goldberg, Goldberg, Goldberg. Man, I'm just so excited to see him in a WWE ring for the first time in 12 years. And man, if that match happens at Survivor Series, whew, I'm hoping that'll be better than their WrestleMania 20 match. And as far as all the other things that Fletcher talk about, very interesting and could happen at WrestleMania 33 because, like you said, Shane McMahon hasn't forgotten what Lesnar did to him at SummerSlam. So it does happen. Could it happen? I hope so, but we'll wait and see as we go further down the line the rest of the year, and as we build towards WrestleMania 33. So we'll wait and see how everything goes. So with that being said, Florio, I give it to you.
Boy, good old MF. It's definitely going to be. He's definitely going to go down as the MVP of this show. My goodness gracious!
Oh, I'm calling it right now. He is the MVP of the show. I don't care what happens the rest of the way. He's getting an A++ on my end.
Yeah, he's certainly an A+ player tonight, no doubt about it. But he always is every week. But tonight, I mean, he's really brought it. So well done, sir. So for me, this was hands down the segment of the night. Even though those other two segments were good as well, this to me was the one that did it. I mean, what else is there to say? I mean, the fans were into the mat. Hang on, let me find my liner note here. An excellent promo by Heyman. It's been a while since Heyman has been given something he can really sink his teeth into. He got it here and he nailed it. I assume the match is a lock or they wouldn't be teasing it to this degree. The big question now is when. Well, I think we already know when it's going to be. The Dirt Sheets have been saying, and Survivor Series is the day. And Michael Fletcher, MF, I read those. I came across some of those Dirt Sheets myself about that possible match for WrestleMania with Brock Lesnar going up against Shane McMahon. I came across that myself. So you're not the only one who read that Dirt Sheet. I came across that myself recently. And but what a scenario it is. And next Monday night, the Pepsi Center in Denver, it's gonna be a Rocky Mountain high when Bill Goldberg shows up on Monday Night Raw. Goodness gracious, that is going to be amazing. That is all I can say on that. I cannot wait to. I mean, that crowd is going to be white hot for Bill Goldberg. Let me tell you that right now. So, but for me, that was the segment of the night, and I know, but there are some people saying that they have absolutely no desire to see a Lesnar Goldberg match in 2016 or 2017, but we have that desire because we want to get that bad taste of WrestleMania 20 out of our mouths. I mean, that was one of the few meh moments of WrestleMania 20. I mean, that was and I agree. If we were doing the forum back then, we would have given this the worst fight of the night. We would have called it an absolute dud because that's how disappointing it was. The hype was there, but the reason why it sucked was because the crowd took the life out of the fight because they knew what was going on because both of those guys were on their way out. Goldberg was on his way out because he didn't like the politics. Who doesn't? And because he had beef, of course, with Triple H and with Vince McMahon and so many others. And Goldberg's like, I'm done. I've had enough. I'm out of here. I'm not doing this anymore. I'm not going to do this anymore. Brock Lesnar, on the other hand, tried to was going to the NFL to try out with the Minnesota Vikings. The fans got word of those dirt sheets, and they let Lesnar and Goldberg have it. And that's why they pissed all over the match, as everybody remembers. So I don't think they're going to piss on this match. No way. Not in Toronto. Not in Bizarro Land, gentlemen. Bizarro Land? Hello, Bizarro World? I mean, you know the Air Canada Center is going to be white hot for Lesnar and Goldberg if indeed this match does go down at Survivor Series, which the dirt sheets are indicating. So, and if it does, oh boy, we're going to have some fun with that sucker. You better believe it. So, for my taste, segment of the night, Heyman, money on the mic one more time. I basically said my piece. So with that being said, we're going to get into this next cruiserweight match because this match I thought was actually good, and I think this match should be addressed. We had cruiserweight champion T.J. Perkins going up against Arya Daivari, the younger brother, of course, of Sean Daivari, as you all know. They went at it, and the winner of the match in 5 minutes and 15 seconds via submission, T.J. Perkins. He wins it with the knee bar. Michael Bullock, I'm going to start this off with you, but I think this match deserves some consideration here. So I thought this was a good match for my taste. I don't know about you.
Yeah, but the thing is, it was just too short. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, 5 minutes and 15 seconds. I mean, yeah. I mean, the action was good for what it was, but I wanted to see a little bit more out of it. I mean, 5 minutes and 15 seconds, just too short for my liking. So I'm gonna give it about somewhere between 1.5 to 2 stars. I mean, I wanted to see more. I mean, I could have given it a much higher rating, but I'm sorry, because it was short, I can't go higher than 2. So, yeah, and of course, it was announced that T.J. Perkins will defend his Cruiserweight Championship at Hell in a Cell against the Brian Kendrick. So, yeah, so we'll wait and see what happens with that. So, 1.5 to 2 stars is my rating. I can't go higher than that. I know Florio will probably go higher than that, but that's just my opinion. So, Florio, what's yours?
Yeah, maybe I should have retracted that, but nonetheless, I probably should have made this a cutout. But nonetheless, I'm going to get into it. I thought this was a very good match. Bullock, you severely underscored it. 2 3/4 to 3 stars for my taste. I mean, the action was really good. Outside of Daivari getting a bit too much offense for my liking, the match was very good. Brian Kendrick was on commentary. He was great and made the most of his time on the mic. So, I mean, I know the fans were quiet, yet more intent than usual with some scattered clapping and TJP chants. It's great to see Daivari get another shot. He was a one and done in the Cruiserweight Classic and deserved better. He's a veteran of the independent scene who has worked all over the place, so here's hoping he will become a regular within the division. His brother Sean hasn't been shy about saying that he can get heat just by walking into a building even if no one knows him. Arya's the same way, and they definitely need heels in the Cruiserweight division. But for my taste, this was a very good Cruiserweight match, and it was much better than that other Cruiserweight match we saw earlier. So 2 3/4 to 3 stars. MF, I don't know if you want to give a rating on it. You can if you want. If you don't, it's okay. So MF, do you want to?
Well, I'm gonna give this between 1.5 and 2. I'm definitely with Michael Bullock. More than anything else, that it was way short, but it was good for what it was worth. I'm not saying nothing bad about it. I'm just gonna say I'm a big fan of TJ Perkins. I'm definitely liking his work. He's actually a local indie guy because we've seen him around here in the New England area a lot. So, because he was XWA, which is based out of West Warwick, Rhode Island. Derek Ferreira knows him really well. And he was also he also did some Beyond Wrestling for a time or two. So TJP is definitely one of one of the guys that we know really well. So nothing bad to say. He's awesome. Yeah. My rating, I was a little disappointed like Bullock was. I was thinking that the fight was going to be a lot more better, but it is what it is. So with that said, let's just move on.
And we're going to move on. We're going to move on to the main event. Main event of the evening, it was Seth Rollins one-on-one with Chris Jericho. If Jericho won the match, he would be added to the Rollins and Owens Universal Championship match at Hell in a Cell, inside Hell in a Cell, making it a triple threat. Winner of the match in what was 19 minutes and 15 seconds to 19 minutes and 20 seconds, Seth Rollins. Rollins wins it. What happened was Rollins went for a pedigree. Jericho counted it and went for the walls, but Rollins got a roll up on the win. So no question about it. For my taste, this was the fight of the night. 3.5 to 4 stars. There were plenty of people cheering for Jericho as the match went on. It seems like the rest of the fans are just waiting for the fun heel to give them a reason to cheer him. I'm curious to see how that affects Rollins, who was off to a slow start as a babyface. In general, this was a good live crowd, and everybody gave them reason to remain engaged. I'm actually disappointed that Jericho lost. I'm not a big fan of triple threat matches, but that one was intriguing. So hopefully they still find a way to get to it. It felt like it was going the wrong direction in the middle, and then they turned it around, and this turned into a really good match. Jericho felt locked in. They teased the possibility of him winning strongly, and Rollins managed to overcome the injured ribs and interference to keep his title match a one-on-one affair. So that's really all I can say about it. So for my taste, fight of the night, 3.5 to 4 stars. MF, your thoughts on the main event?
3.5 stars. I hit the mute button. My bad. Yeah, no, definitely, no doubt about it. 3.5 stars is my rating for the match as well. I am not disappointed. I'm so disappointed with this. I don't understand it. Why this would have been a great match to make a triple threat. To bring Jericho into that fight would have been a great thing, but I think I know how he can get in it. The list. I hate to say it, that list is going to come back, and that might be Jericho's ticket into the main event for Hell in a Cell in Boston. Even though I think a lot of people are going to not be too thrilled about it, we'll have to wait and see what happens. But I definitely liked what I saw. Great match, great. Everything was great, man. I was so disappointed. I wish it could have been a lot more better, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. Nothing more to say. So, 3 stars is my rating. Yep. Mike Bullock, is yours.
Yeah, 3.5 stars is my rating. Yeah, this was indeed a good main event to close out what I thought was a disappointing edition of Monday Night Raw, if I'm going to be quite honest. So, yeah, so you guys pretty much touched on everything. So let's move into our overall thoughts on the show.
And MF starts it off. Your overall thoughts on this Raw tonight? MF, your overall thoughts on this show tonight?
I wonder if he had to probably. Oh, there he is.
I really didn't want to put the rating. I didn't want to do it, but I'm gonna have to do it. This show was a complete and utter disaster. I think we all can agree. This show stunk. Let down, horrible, whatever you want to call it, whatever other words you want to say it was bad, homie. 4 out of 10. Sorry, I gotta do it. Maybe I may be a little harsh. Maybe I might not be too harsh here, but this Monday Night Raw was sinking as bad as Donald Trump's bid for being president of the United States. Sorry, I had to go there. Couldn't help myself. Yeah, bad, train wreck. It was like Anthony Floyo said. It was terrible. Nothing more to say. Bullock, Can you try to top that?
Oh, I'm topping this, and with your permission, Florio, I am going on a freaking rant right now. I am going on a rant.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay, WWE. I mean, you were supposed to, I mean, you had to give us a good show because you had competition tonight. Football, and you also had the division series matchups that were going on. The Red Sox and the Indians and the Giants and the Cubs. And you basically decide to throw in the towel and give us a cluster bleep of a show? No. You're supposed to be fighting hard to get fans to watch the show, not giving us all these done enhancement fillers that we got here tonight. I mean, yeah, we had some good moments, but we just had done enhancement fillers that really sucked ass. And this is why Derek Ferreira, and I agree with him, that this Monday Night Raw needs to go back to 2 hours. And what they also need to do is go back, not just go back to 2 hours, but give us good quality matches and cut the dud enhancement filler. Because I'm telling you right now, I'm getting sick and tired of this dud enhancement filler crap that we're getting here. And this is why Monday Night Raw has been sucking ass the last few weeks. And why SmackDown Live is kicking your ass right now. That's what I'm saying right now. So Monday Night Raw, you need to wake the F up and you need to do better with these shows, because I'll tell you what right now, if we get another bad Monday Night Raw, I'm so freaking done with Monday Night Raw. I'll start watching SmackDown Live more often than Monday Night Raw if we continue to get all this crap. So, as far as my rating, 3.5 out of 10. Done, finished. Florio, please move on before I really blow some freaking steam.
Well, you already did. So with that being said, yeah, I agree. This was an average and mediocre edition of Monday Night Raw. I know I'm probably being a little too generous with this, but there was some good moments here. I mean, that main event was amazing and the whole 9 yards. The build to Hell in a Cell was really good. I mean, only because of some of the newsworthiness of this show. I mean, and there was a lot of newsworthy stuff. The announcement of Sasha and Charlotte being inside Hell in a Cell, Bill Goldberg coming back next week, and having 3 Hell in a Cell matches in one night, and some of the good in-ring segments and a few good matches. I'm actually going to give this show a solid 6 out of 10. It's on my average scale. 6 out of 10 is my rating for this show tonight. They did some good work to build the Hell in a Cell. And
No. I disagree with that rating.
Well, your opinion. They did some good work to build the Hell in a Cell and to set up the return of Goldberg. But there was also a lot of filler this week. This is another show that if you could prune out that filler, you'd have a much stronger 2-hour show. But there's nothing we can do about that. Anyway, this was an overall solid but bland show from Monday Night Raw. I know the 6 out of 10 may seem generous in my book, but it's my story. I'm sticking to it because you had that great main event with Rollins and Jericho. You had a very good mixed tag match with Roman and Sasha against Charlotte and Rusev. I'll even throw in that match with Cesaro and Kofi Kingston, which was a solid 2.5 stars for my taste. And then throw in those 3 good in-ring segments, the Heyman segment, the Foley and Stephanie segment with Owens and Jericho, and then the opening segment. And even throw in that sleeper cruiserweight match for my end with TJ Perkins and Arya Daivari. So a solid 6 out of 10 is my rating for this show. Whether you disagree, whether you agree with it or not. So my story, I'm sticking to it. I'm the man who tells it like it is around here. So that's all there is to say on that. So with that being said, let's move on now to Impact Wrestling, the Tony's Take is here and it's now. And what else is there for me to say except we had history on this edition of Impact Wrestling, to say the very least. So, and then and then after that, I will give you what to expect on the next edition of Impact Wrestling coming up this week. So, because we got some interesting things coming up on that. So, so with that being said, let's move on to our review from last week. Of course, we sorted out all the fallout from Bound for Glory. It was an in-ring segment. Bobby Lashley, he started it. It was basically a champion showcase, if you will. That's basically what it was. It was a champion showcase. We had all the champions in the ring, and that's really all there is to say about that. You had TNA World Heavyweight Champion Bobby Lashley in there, the new Impact Grand Champion Aaron Rex, the Knockouts Champion Gail Kim, the World Tag Team Champions the Broken Hardys, and X Division Champion DJZ. And Billy Corgan came out and announced that all the champions will be defending their titles with the exception of the X Division title, because DJZ is going to be participating in a brand new match concept for the X Division, which I'll get into in a moment. So with all that being said, it was the old revolving door segment, which, while I can appreciate the champions proclaiming why they are so great, the change thing felt forced. Don't tell people you're changing. Just let it happen. Lashley is so great when he doesn't care about everyone else. He protects the I am better than you attitude better than anyone else right now. Solid stuff to open the show. And then we start off with what is known as Team X Gold. It will feature trios teams with the rules strictly enforced. That's pretty much all they said. They didn't say why they are fighting or if there was a goal for them to fight for. Once a team starts, they stay together. Why? They didn't say. So with that said, it was a Team X Gold match. We had X Division Champion DJZ teaming up with Mandrews and Braxton Sutter. They went up against Marshe Rocket, Andrew Everett, and Trevor Lee. Winners of the match in 5 minutes and 35 seconds via pinfall, DJZ, Mandrews, and Braxton Sutter. I'm giving this a solid 3 stars. It was a good but rushed match. The Team X Gold concept sounds like it may be fun and should get more X Division guys on the show, but they seem to jump into it without a real plan. Right now, it's just a reason to have X Division 6-man tags, which can be fun for sure, but why are we having them? Also, how does this address the overall lack of booking X Division title feuds? I wish that they had more of an explanation for this other than here it is. I hope they don't have a plan to introduce trios titles, because they do not have the roster depth or creative energy to focus on that. Nice to see Mandrews on Impact and actually winning a match. So that's really all there is to say on that. So for my taste, that was the second best fight of the night. Solid 3 stars. Then we had Eli Drake. Fact of Life segment. His guest was Ethan Carter III. Segment of the night. That was a really good segment with EC3 showing good fire after losing, and Drake manning up and not only cutting a good promo, but breaking from his Rock ripoff formal he often relies on. This felt more real, more like the real Eli Drake and not an oversimplified character. He has a valid reason to not like EC3. He was given it all and failed and wants to prove himself. The promo work was there, full of great fire and emotion. Now they have to deliver in the ring. Then we had a Knockouts Championship match, the Champion Showcase. Gail Kim versus Sienna. Winner of the match in 3 minutes and 5 seconds, and still TNA Knockouts Champion Gail Kim. I'm going to give it a solid 2 stars for the effort. The match was perfectly solid for the time that they were given, but much like the X Division, the women are often shorted on time, which leads to rushed and often, not here, sloppy matches. I think they could have a great match if actually given time. Unfortunately, what we got was just solid. And then then there was a post-match beatdown, and then it was announced that next week, Maria Kanellis Bennett would cash in would invoke her rematch clause, and she will face Gail Kim for the Knockouts Championship in a no disqualification match. But the thing is, if Maria loses, she loses her power as leader of the Knockouts division. Check that out. And then we go to the tag team championship, the Broken Hardys. We get a return match, the Broken Hardys versus Decay, in what was called a Wolf Creek cage match. Okay. Winners of the match in 7 minutes and 30 seconds, and still the TNA World Tag Team Champions, the Broken Hardys. I'm not going to give this a rating only because it seemed like it was a solid weapons brawl overall, but lacked the fire and overall fun of the Great War from Bound for Glory. I didn't expect it to get there in terms of overall quality, but to me it fell flat. So I'm not even going to give it a rating. Then we had an in-ring segment with Cody and Brandy Rhodes. Of course, Cody Rhodes now in TNA, along with his wife, Brandy Rhodes, formerly Eden Styles, the ring announcer. Interrupted by Mike and Maria Kanellis-Bennett. Second best segment of the night here. The segment was third best segment of the night, rather. The segment was solid. Cody getting a title shot, and the feud with the Bennetts doesn't excite me at all. But maybe I will be surprised. It's just that I watched this segment and I say to myself, the delivery was solid, the content was solid, the crowd reaction was solid, but they did nothing to wow me or make me care. I hope they deliver. So that's all I can say on that. And then we have our Grand Championship match. Aaron Rex with his first defense of the Grand Championship. He went up against Baron Dax of the Tribunal. Winner of the match via pinfall at 42 seconds of round 2. And still, Impact Grand Champion, Aaron Rex. Solid 2 stars. Solid match overall, with Dax getting a lot of time to shine and honestly showing more here than he had in his entire run so far with TNA. It's not that it was great, but he got to show some aggression and personality instead of being that dude from the Tribunal, which was nice. Rex is still just a guy to me, but I like that they established a secondary finish of him. Wrestling needs more of those. So that's all I can say on that. And then we move on to the main event of the evening. TNA World Heavyweight Champion Bobby Lashley. Billy Corgan lays it out saying, you have a choice of 3 opponents. You can defend against either Moose, Ethan Carter III, or Eddie Edwards. Lashley says, I want Eddie Edwards because this is going to be an easy, he's the easy choice. Really, Lashley? Because the winner of the match in 7 minutes and 48 seconds and the new TNA World Heavyweight Champion, Wolves Nation go crazy, ROH Nation go crazy, Eddie Edwards does the unthinkable. He beats Bobby Lashley in 7 minutes and 48 seconds via the pinfall with the Boston Knee Party. For me, this was the fight of the night. 3.5 stars. Some may complain that the match was too short, but I feel it worked on a few levels. First of all, this was a well-done sprint with great energy from both, and they kept the crowd interested. Secondly, when you're pulling the surprise title change, the shorter match with a shocking ending plays better than trying to pull off an epic long match. Eddie Edwards becomes the unexpected champion for the second time. His ROH title win was also similar to this, and I know Michael Fletcher could attest to that. As a fan, I am very happy for Edwards, but the booking is a bit confusing. On one hand, it plays well as Lashley was overconfident and tried to take the easy way out only for it to bite him in the ass. On the other hand, doing the title change right after Bound for Glory when you had built EC3 forever feels very odd. I wonder why they made the call to not go with EC3 after all of that build. It really feels as if they are serving their TV master, which I completely understand. We'll see where it goes. They have a chance to do something fun, and Edwards as champion is certainly fresh and a feel-good moment for longtime fans of his. Michael Fletcher, I know, is one of them, dating back to his ROH days. So my overall thoughts on this show tonight, 6.5 to solid to a 7 out of 10. Solid but flawed episode of Impact Wrestling. The EC3 Eli Drake promo segment and the Eddie Edwards world title win were the true highlights of the show and the things that you absolutely have to see. The Team X Gold concept may have potential, but the debut felt completely thrown out there with the lack of details regarding the company's newest toy. I am not declaring it a bust by any means, but I wish that there was more information so that we could sink our teeth into it. Changing the game is the new buzz phrase, and I don't like it. This episode felt as if TNA was putting a new coat of paint on the show with the debut of Cody, Drake shining with EC3, a new X Division concept, and Edwards' title win. But those things speak for themselves and are noticed and appreciated. Please do not beat us over the head with phrases and buzzwords like WWE does. Finally, and this has bothered me for some time, and it's something I have previously mentioned in past reviews, they need to explain better the reasoning for who gets title shots. The Decay, I understand, as they are doing the old rematch clause. Sienna, I suppose, works, but they prior stripped Maria of her power to run the knockouts. Did she get it back after losing the title? If so, that works, but you have to tell us. Baron Dex got a title shot. I kid you not. Why? Give me something. Tell me, did you do a random draw? It worked for Ron Simmons, but give me some reasoning to buy into. Finally, the world title contenders. EC3 lost at Bound for Glory. Edwards lost at Bound for Glory. The only winner among the three choices was Moose. I get that Lashley got to choose his opponent, but his choice could have been better as the point. I just want some more thought put into the decisions. The show was a solid post-pay-per-view effort, which laid the groundwork for the shows going forward. Now they just have to follow up. So 6.5 to 7 out of 10. And now here's what we can expect on the next edition of Impact Wrestling on Thursday night on Pop Television at 8 o'clock. X Division Championship match. DJZ will defend the title against Marshe Rocket. We're going to get that one-on-one match. Cody Rhodes against the Miracle Mike Bennett. We're going to have another Grand Championship match. Aaron Rex is going to defend against Jesse Goddard of the Bromans. Eddie Edwards is going to have his first segment as the new TNA World Heavyweight Champion. And then we're going to have a knockout. And then, of course, the knockouts, no disqualification, title match, Gail Kim against Maria Kanellis-Bennett. And in the main event of the evening, interesting main event of the evening, Ethan Carter III is going to go one-on-one with Moose. That should be an interesting show. So there's the groundwork for this Thursday's edition of Impact Wrestling. So check it all out. 8 o'clock Thursday night, Pop Television. So it's really all there is to say on that. So that's going to put the bow on this edition of Ridiculously Raw. We want to thank you all so very much for tuning in. So with that being said, shout outs time. Whoever wants it first, go for it. Just save me for last, and I'll set up the future content. Bullet, Fletcher, whoever
Yeah,
wants.
I'll start it first. All right. Of course, shout outs to all of our tremendous fans out there who continue to support our shows, whether it's this Cerebral Smack Talk or Watch Football Thursday or Strictly Sports NFL Friday. It doesn't matter. We really appreciate it. We thank you all so very much for tuning in. Of course, shout outs to our super fans, Dee Woodson, Kevin Woodson, Matt Ward, and Jason Hixenbaugh. Well, I should say now Dee Woodson is the first lady of wrestling. Of course, our other super fan, Kevin Woodson, Matt Ward, and Jason Hixenbaugh. And of course, to all of our friends from our high school days, Al Bredesen, Jimmy Alden, Rob Parsons, Eric Carrier, Tom Souza, to Megan Silva, and of course, the first lady of Strictly Sports, Kaiser Butler, to the Grand Poobah himself, Derek Ferreira. And of course, there's one other shout out I want to give to, and of course, you all knew tonight the Red Sox they lost to the Cleveland Indians 4-3. They get swept out of the playoffs, and as we all know, because of that, it was the final game of Big Papi's legendary career, and what a ride it's been, and all the great memories. I mean, with the 3 world championships he brought, of course, in 2004, 2007, and 2013, and all the walk-offs he's had, and all the big moments he's had in the postseason, and with that, I want to do, like you're showing right there, and I want to do something. I have my cap. I just want to say, I tip my cap off to you, David Ortiz. Thank you for the memories. Thank you for the inspiration, and thank you for being Big Papi. So, I wish you the best of luck in your retirement, and enjoy it, man. And thank you again for giving us fans of Red Sox Nation memories we will never, ever forget. So, yeah, so that's going to do it for me. So until tomorrow night for the Cerebral Smack Talk, this is the Phenom Mike Bullock saying thank you all so very much for tuning in. And of course, you know the routine. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah. Throw it up Fortune 4 style. Bye for now. Enjoy the rest of your night, everybody. And once again, thank you, David Ortiz, Big Poppy, for the memories. Fletcher, I give it to you.
Yeah, indeed. First off, I want to say thank you to all the great fans out there who appreciates and shows the love for Ridiculously Raw. You guys are the best fans in the world. To my friends in the junior high and high school days, I love you guys as always. 2184 crew. It's been an amazing week for us. I also want to give a little shout out to the super fans. You guys already know who you guys are. I want to give a major shout out to my boy Jimmy Silva and Alan Travers. They tied the knot on Saturday night. That's why you saw me decked out the Fortune 4 Evolution. And yeah, I'll even call it. Florio called it the monkey suit. Yeah, the suit came back. I busted it out for one night only. And I gotta tell you, man, I've been getting rave reviews, man, about the suit. I'm getting a lot of rave reviews about the suit. I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was because I went I did like an almost all black attire this time around with the tie and everything else. But man, I got a lot of love from the fellas, from some of the from a lot of my friends. They were like, "Oh my God, Mike, you really cleaned up really well." I felt evolution, man. I felt like I was the legend killer Randy Orton in that evolution suit, man. But I had a great time. I wish my friends nothing but the best in their new life together, and I wish them, Godspeed. Wish them all the best in the world. I love you guys. You guys are awesome, and have fun. Enjoy it, man. This is the best time of your life right now. Enjoy the fun where you guys are right now. So that's it for that. Tonight is we're at it again. It's basically another night, another event, another great show. We'll see. So we got, of course, SmackDown Live, the fallout from, see what's gonna happen. What's AJ Styles going to do now that he did successfully defend the WWE World Championship? What's going to happen with the women's division title because of the fact that Becky Lynch is hurt? What's going to happen there? Then we'll wait and see. And obviously, the rivalry between Randy Orton and Bray Wyatt is not over by a long shot. What's going to be the repercussions over that? Then also we got Lucha Underground recap. We got ROH recap as well. We jump started at 10:30 Eastern right here. Well, actually not here, but on my channel, BrazeFan95. Nothing more to say. That's it, guys. So until then, you know the routine. Huzz and Ham Hounds. I'm out. Have a good night. Anthony, take it home.
Yes, indeed. I want to, special shout out to all of our tremendous fans and viewers out there who continue to make our projects as over as they are. We appreciate it as always. The view counts haven't really been all that high since this whole YouTube live format started last month, but we did get a shot in the arm. The No Mercy preview that I had to fill in for MF on, that I had to fill in for Fletcher, the host, on the other night. We actually got a decent view count on that, believe it or not. We got 27 views on that, so I'm very grateful for that. So, which is far and away our highest view count since the new YouTube live format started last month. So we appreciate that. You are the best fans in the world for that. And of course, special shout out to the first lady of the Wrestling Forum, the Twisted Angel, Didi Woodson. Work commitments kept her away from the show tonight. She as of now, was slated to be on the show tomorrow night. But that might change. You never know. We'll have to wait and see. But hopefully she'll be on with us tomorrow night for the Cerebral Smack Talk. Of course, other shout outs, of course, Didi Woodson, Kevin Woodson, and the entire Woodson family. Matt Ward, Jason Hicksonbaugh, Daniel Cho from the UK, who just became a father recently for the first time. And, of course, our other friends, our other crew members, our other first ladies, rather, Kaiser Butler, Megan Silva, and Lexi Calloway, along with our other friends, Tommy Souza, Eric Carrier, Jimmy Alden, Al Bradison, and Rob Parsons. And, of course, last but not least, the hardcore pipe bomb himself, Derek Ferreira, sportsblog.com. Check him out. So that's pretty much it. I'll save the rest of mine for Friday night, and that'll do it for this. So now tomorrow night, like MF said, a Cerebral Smack Talk. MF's going to run that as always. The fallout from No Mercy on SmackDown Live. They actually announced the match for tomorrow night, a tag team match. Randy Orton and Kane are going to team up. Are going to team up against Bray Wyatt and Luke Harper. So there's your tag team match right there. And then all the fallout from No Mercy, obviously, like MF said, and then his Mikey's Mindset with ROH and Lucha Underground and maybe some other things. We'll see. And then on Thursday, we'll be with you for another edition of College Football Thursday. Looking forward to that show. We got some more exciting games to get into, headlined, of course, by Ohio State and Wisconsin and Alabama and Tennessee. Those are the two must-see games of this upcoming week in college football. And then, of course, Friday night, NFL Friday. And then we finally have a weekend to ourselves. How great is that? No pay-per-views to cover after 3 straight pay-per-view weekends. So we can finally let our hair down and relax on the weekends. So, because then after Friday, we're back here next Monday night for another all-new Ridiculously Raw as we continue the build for Hell in a Cell. So that'll do it for this. So until tomorrow night for the Cerebral Smack Talk, it's Ridiculously Over Leslie Fleur here for good old MF Michael Fletcher, for the Phenom Michael Bullock. You know the routine, everybody. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah, throw it up Fortune 4 style. Bye for now, my friends. God bless. Be good to each other. And until tomorrow night for the Cerebral Smack Talk, you've been watching Ridiculously Raw right here on the Tone 25 on YouTube.com. And remember, no matter what anyone tells you, wrestling is indeed actually real. Good night, everybody.